What's going on, guys? TRK7 here with MG Knights, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a question, which is Final Fantasy XIV worth playing in 2018? And I'm here to answer that question for you today and give you my thoughts and opinions on it, so let's get started. As MMOs go, this one is very good. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that right off the bat. This game is not without its caveats and its pitfalls, but overall, a very strong game. This game was released, for those of you who maybe don't know, clear back in 2010. And so that's about 8 years ago now. And this game has had two major expansions since then. And back when it came out, I originally did play this game when it first came out. And I got to the point, I played for probably about a month. I got to the point where you fight like your first real major dungeon. And unfortunately, when I play MMOs, I am one of those super antisocial players, which is funny because I like playing MMOs, but I'm one of those people that I like to have like other players around, but I kind of like to do my own thing and just kind of like go off and do my own quests and stuff like that. And so like when I got time to where I realized this game was going to force you to do dungeons through the main story, I dipped out and I quit playing, unfortunately. And I recently have really been just really craving a new RPG, something new to play, and I was just like, oh, Final Fantasy XIV, why not give it a try? And so I came back, and I'm very, very glad I did. The first thing I want to talk about really is just the visuals of this game. For being an 8-year-old game, this game holds up extremely well. It is still artistically, visually, one of the most fantastic games I have ever seen to date. It holds up with games that have come out recently, come out in the last couple of years. It absolutely stands its own ground against them. There might be little things here and there, like where the facial animations aren't quite on par with, like, say, like, I don't know, like The Witcher 3 or Detroit, Become Human or whatever. It isn't quite there, but the art style is fantastic. And when you're in battle and there's all these spells flying around and the explosions and this and that, it can get so chaotic, like you can't even see your character anymore, but it's just so pretty to watch that you don't even really care at that point. That leads into the music of this game. There are only a couple sections of this game where the music is not just fantastic, and really the only reason is because it's something you hear over and over again, such as like when you accept a quest or complete a quest or something like that, you get just like this short snippet of music that plays every single time, and that can get old, and that's understandable. I mean, every game kind of has that. That noise when you accept a quest. I can hear the World of Warcraft like trumpet noise in my head right now. So that does get old, but as far as like the environmental music, the dungeon music, the trial raid music, any area you're in, the music is all just a beautiful orchestra. And even when you're on your mounts, depending on the mount you're on, whether you're on just like a regular chocobo and you get that, same chocobo theme we've been hearing for years and years and years, or you're flying on a dragon, you get different music for that. Or if you get like a mech type mount, like the Magitech armor from previous Final Fantasy games, you get different music for that too, and it kind of like harkens back to those older games and gives you a callback to them. So the music is always a treat, and it's very well done, and it's probably one of the biggest highlights about this game. The individual classes of this game are a lot of fun as well, and this is one of the things that made this game very unique when it came out. As opposed to a game like World of Warcraft where you choose your character, you choose your class, you're a paladin or whatever, and you're set and that's it. This game, on the other hand, allows you to switch between classes when you're outside of battle, of course. But you can switch between, say, like being a dragoon at one moment and you get tired of being a dragoon, you can go switch it up and be a paladin or a dark knight, a more tanky type class, or the other DPS classes. There's like bards, monks. There's a lot to choose from there, and there's also healing classes like the white mage and stuff like that. And so they kind of have like the trifecta, like the 3 class archetypes that you can choose from. And every class that I've played as so far, I haven't like played through every single class and maxed out every single class, because that's going to take me like a long time. And it is a goal of mine to do, because I thoroughly enjoy this game. They all feel very balanced. They all feel very useful. And it's funny because, like, say my main class I've been playing as is like a dragoon, and just because you get that dragoon armor and you get to do cool jump in the air attacks where your character like jumps off screen and comes flying down with a spear and creates a big old explosion. And he's an obvious DPS class and he does a lot of damage, right? And you can just blaze through your attacks and then in battle, that's what you usually do. Is his damage kind of just like spikes and goes back down, and goes up for another spike and comes back down. Versus like my wife's class, she's a bard, and she was actually saying to me the other day, she was kind of noticing that she doesn't do as much DPS. She's like, I'm not doing quite as much DPS as you. She's like, she was kind of bummed out about it and thinking about playing another class. Well, the thing about her class is that her class, while it is DPS oriented, also has a lot of the spells or songs, I guess, that a bard would have, and those output not only up your own output for attacks, but up your entire party's output for attacks and cause the enemies to take more damage. And so, like, in that way, that she is doing DPS in like a different way than I'm doing DPS. So very cool. All the classes are very fun to play, very balanced. They all feel very useful. I haven't tried a class yet where I thought like, wow, this sucks. So it's very, very well done. The biggest drawback to this game, especially coming from as a new player perspective, not somebody who's been playing this game for 8 years or anything like that, is a brand new player. The questing system is very, very cookie cutter, and it is a lot of fetch quests, a lot of go travel here, go kill 10 of these, go come back, or go here, talk to the person, come back, and that can get super old, especially as a brand new player. You want to get to the new content, but this game, for some crazy reason, makes you start from the very beginning and play the whole story. And I'll get to that more in a moment. But the questing system can just be kind of painful and boring and monotonous. And that's not really where this game shines, for sure. Where it does shine, however, though, is the dungeons, the trials, and the raids. The dungeons are also, I would say, pretty cookie cutter for an MMO type situation, where you kill mobs, you find a boss, and you repeat that 2 or 3 more times. Each boss will have different mechanics that you have to figure out and know, and so it's not like anything like groundbreaking or mind blowing or anything like that. But it is a lot. They're a lot of fun. They're gorgeous to look at, to go through the dungeons. They're all themed very well. Like one can be like a haunted house. One can be the shipwreck cove where you're going through all these pirate ships and stuff like that, and kind of like this like haunted, ghostly wasteland looking area. They're pretty to look at, that's for sure. Where I think this game definitely stands out, though, is the trials. The trials in this game, and what these are, is a fight with like a summon from the Final Fantasy series prior. So say like Ifrit or Shiva or Ramu, or even actually Odin is in the game as well, but he's not in a trial. He's actually an active like world boss, which I played the other night. We did end up beating him. This is kind of a side note, but there was at least about 30 people there, and he wiped the floor with every single one of us. It was really cool. It was a very rare event that comes up only like once every couple days. But as far as like the regular trials go, they're all super gorgeous. The music's always great, and it's a lot of fun to face off against old Final Fantasy favorites. Like the Shiva fight was especially awesome. Just the way the halfway through the fight, the music like kicked up and ramped up, and you could tell the danger was there. And the dungeons and trials, the nice thing about them is that on the normal mode, like when you're questing through as a normal player, they're not so extreme as to where like you don't understand what's going on or you can't figure out like what the mechanics are. And most players are nice enough to explain it to you if you don't know. I usually have like the Wikipedia up on my second monitor, that way I don't look like a total noob when when I'm playing. But there are enough visual cues in the dungeons and trials to let you know what's going on. Or they can be super chaotic. Like the last one I just did recently was Susanoo.
Let the rebels begin!
I believe his name was, and it was a lot of fun. Like he was just creaming my party. Like we were just getting wiped out, but it was a lot of fun. Like I died like 2 or 3 times. as did most of the party. It wasn't just me. Just make that distinction. But he was like totally original creation for the game, and it was one of the most interesting dungeons that I had seen. Also, the raids. The raids obviously are the end game content. I've only done a couple raids, and again, these are something that where the mechanics are in place, but the game kind of guides you into what you're supposed to be doing. And I know on like the harder difficulties, these probably get pretty challenging. I haven't really done anything on like an extreme difficulty yet, but as far as just going through like and experiencing them, they were a lot of fun as well. And they were huge set pieces, and just very gorgeous visually and with the music and everything else. So that was all the Dungeon Trial raid. As far as like the gameplay content, I would say overall it's been really great. And as I have progressed from the main story through the expansions, you can definitely tell like the quality just keeps goes up on an incline and keeps getting better throughout the game. The only thing I would say is that the mind-boggling decision by the developers to make you actually have to progress through the main story and the first expansion to get to the main content does blow me away. I mean, I can understand why they did it. They want you to go through and learn how to play the game and experience the game, and that's great. And as far as the main story goes, it's not bad. A Realm Reborn wasn't great. Heaven's Ward, the first expansion, was fantastic. Like, the whole story had me, like, completely captivated. And so is Stormblood so far. I'm about halfway through Stormblood, and the story is, like, just, like, phenomenal. But you have to go through all these filler quests to get there, to get to these chunks of main story. And you can skip it if you want to pay in the Square Enix store. I think it's like $10 or something like that. Whereas something like if you're a brand new player, they should really give you like a potion or token or whatever to be able just to advance you to 60 and skip by all that if you so choose. You should have that option there for free, and then if you want to make another character, then maybe pay for it. Another option would be for the developers just to go back and retune the game. Really would just be to eliminate a lot of those filler quests that are unnecessary. Just cut them down. You could cut that number in half at the very least, and nothing would really be lost there, because a lot of those quests are just pointless. Nobody's going to sit there and think that they're engaging in any way, shape, or form. And I've even read that the developers have admitted that they understand that the first part of the game can be an absolute slog. And it was really boring to get through, and I was so happy to get through the first original story to get to the expansion, and happily it wasn't as much of a problem with the expansion. But and the only other thing I would say that I have as a complaint with this game is that there is an actual store, like on the Final Fantasy XIV website or the MOG station or whatever, where you can buy mounts or outfits and stuff like that. The prices are a little outrageous, and maybe this has just come from somebody who's not attuned to the MMO market, but I mean, $20 for a mount is just like, holy cow. Same goes for like an extra outfit, $20. Like, why would I spend that? I mean, people must be spending that, I guess, to get the cool stuff, and there are cool ones you can get in game as well, but just the price of that to me seems outrageous. Maybe they want to make it pricey enough to where only the people who really want it are going to get it, and that way they have like that unique mount in it amounts to bragging rights, I guess. Like, I've got this cool unique thing, nobody else has it because nobody else wants to dish out the cash. Maybe that's what it is, but I was a little bit appalled when I first stumbled across the store. The store's not really promoted in the game in any way, shape, or form. It's not like pushed on you at all. I will say that's their defense, but it is there, and it is an eyesore in my opinion. Overall, if I had to give this game a score from what I've played, I would give it like an absolute B plus A minus range game. I have a hard time settling on a letter grade here with this game just because I like it so much. I think it is an A. Like, I personally think it's an A game, but there's those things that drag it down, like the questing and the monotony, that can kind of drag it down. But I would say that this is absolutely one of the greatest MMOs out there. My personal favorites, aside from this game, obviously, the World of Warcraft. I'm playing through Legion. I think Legion's a lot of fun. I know it's not popular opinion among the WoW community, but I like Legion. I also play Guild Wars 2, and that's also a lot of fun, in its own different way, for just the fact that there's kind of a living world there, and it is a lot of fun. But I would say that this is absolutely one of the best MMOs. If you were going to choose an MMO to play, it was worth it for me for that 1 month of grind to get to this newer content, to teach me how to play this game, to have the experiences that I've had. If you were looking for an MMO, I absolutely recommend this game. I think you should go out, check it out, give it a shot. There is a free trial on the Final Fantasy XIV website. I know this trial extends to PC players. I don't know about PS4 players. But if you do have a PC, and you don't have to have like a rockin' incredible PC to play the game at all. I mean, my computer is pretty reasonable. I've got an AMD. I've got a Ryzen 5 1600X. It's a pretty decent processor. It doesn't get taxed too much during the game, so you could definitely go with something lower. But all I've got as far as a graphics card is I've got like a 1050 Ti. It's not top of the line. It's just a very mediocre graphics card, and I play this game on max settings. 1080p. Full settings, and I get like 55 frames per second, and I don't get any stuttering or anything like that, and so the game's very smooth. So if you got a decent rig, I definitely recommend checking it out, playing it on PC. So far my experience has been great, and I think if you're looking for an MMO, you would have a lot of fun too. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed my review of this game. I'm actually gonna go back and hop back on right as soon as I'm done writing this video and keep playing. So until next time, guys, I'll talk to you again soon.